Right-wing media channel Newsmax is a fringe organization that almost no one had heard of, except for those 2.5 days when Fox News lawyers told the network they were going to have to start telling the truth. And then MAGA Nation went flocking to Newsmax. Well, Newsmax serves as part of the Trump Panderers Network, but in an interview with RNC Chair Michael Whatley, Newsmax showed it can ask the kind of hard-hitting questions about Donald Trump that are normally reserved for legitimate journalists trying to get at the truth, not orchestrate it. Let's take a quick look.
Oh, believe me, Mr. Chairman, I can feel the audience right now upset that I'm asking these questions, but I have to ask them just because we are in such uncharted territory.
The Newsmax host wasn't exaggerating about being able to feel the ire of the audience for asking such shocking questions. This interview was recorded in front of a live studio audience, and so the reactions were palpable. We have footage of the audience. Let's take a look.
I think honesty is always the best policy. You believe that? No, I was lying.
In all seriousness, Whatley was not on set to do a puff piece, but to talk about the RNC convention, and some of the things he said were surprising, to say the least. And we're going to listen in to what he said, but first, it's worth noting that Whatley is the one being interviewed and not RNC co-chair Laura Trump. Even Newsmax implicitly acknowledges that the actual operations of the RNC are being supervised by Whatley. As a Nepo co-chair, Laura Trump's role is to help continue bilking MAGA Nation out of their money to pay Trump's legal fees. She's also there to choke off money for down-ballot Republican candidates and make sure that the cash keeps flowing to the army of criminal defense lawyers Trump needs for all his criminal trials. In that respect, it's kind of hard to figure out if she's actually working for the DNC or the RNC. So Whatley sat for this interview to talk about the complexities of running a convention in Milwaukee when the nominee is a convicted felon. Let's take a look.
And the convention happens next month, and your nominee could be sentenced to actual jail time 4 days before everything kicks off in Milwaukee. Have you planned for that at the RNC?
Yeah, we're working on that right now. I'm actually going up to Milwaukee this week, and we're going to have a series of conversations. But look, we expect that Donald Trump is going to be in Milwaukee, and he's going to be able to accept that nomination. And if not, we will make whatever contingency planning we need to make for it. But the fact is, he's going to be our nominee, and he's going to be the 47th president of the United States.
Can you talk about those contingency plans?
No, I think that right now we're in the process of putting everything together for us having a great convention. It's going to be an opportunity to roll out his vision for America.
Now, the incredible part of this interview is Newsmax acknowledging that reality may just have to sink in. That despite all the weeping and gnashing of teeth, the right-wing chorus singing chapter and verse about how illegitimate this trial was, in the end, the court has spoken. Donald Trump is guilty, and jail time is a real possibility. What's especially noteworthy here is Whatley refusing to discuss contingency plans. Can you discuss those plans, he's asked. No, is the answer, and he moves right on with spin. He may be going up to Milwaukee, but if Trump is in jail in New York, there's not much Milwaukee can do. And even the host is not accepting this spin. He and his audience want to know if there's a plan in place for running this election from a jail cell, so he comes back at it again. Let's watch.
Let's talk, but let's say Trump is behind bars, and again, it is a possibility. Would he make a speech from prison? Would he make a speech before sentencing day? Just something that you could play during the RNC? Are those contingencies being thought about, considered, and planned for?
Everything is being thought about. Everything is being considered at this point in time. We will have to wait and see kind of what the courts present us with the opportunity to do. But look, Donald Trump will communicate directly with the American voters the way that he always does.
You can see the desperation in the anchor's line of questioning. It's more a suggestion list than questions. Have you thought about recording video before he's locked up that you can then play at the convention? He's literally feeding ideas to Whatley, whose main purpose at this point is to remain nonplussed that the Republican presidential nominee is a convicted felon. And of course, one has to laugh at the idea that Donald Trump is going to articulate his vision. What vision? Trump has never had any vision. The only vision he had in 2016 is to close America to anyone who wasn't white. These days, he doesn't even have that. The only thing he ever talks about is what a hellscape this country is and how he's going to weaponize government against his enemies. A list that does not include Vladimir Putin or Kim Jong-un. Trump dreams of getting back to writing love letters to Kim. Underneath Whatley's calm demeanor, however, is the overall plan of the Republican Party to create enormous pressure to intimidate the courts to keep Trump out of prison. And even if they don't keep him out of prison, that naturally the prison system is going to have to cooperate because Trump is the nominee. Note to Republicans, that's not the prison system's problem, it's yours. Try nominating a non-convicted felon. I keep going back to the state of Texas, wanting to throw Crystal Mason in jail for 5 years because she was ineligible to vote but cast a provisional ballot thinking she was. Where is that get tough on voter fraud attitude now, Republicans? Or is that only reserved for black voters? The other theme that needs to be tossed on the trash heap is how unprecedented this is. Yes, it's unprecedented. It's unprecedented to have a president who fundamentally could not stop breaking the law. The guy came in violating the emoluments clause and then never stopped. For the rule of law to stand, Trump needs to go to jail where he belongs. He's so in love with the J6 prison choir, let him join and sing. Oh, Lord, on second thought, no, we've already suffered enough. I'm Anthony Vincent Gallo for Occupy Democrats.